Hello, so today I am coming to you. As of yesterday, I am 18 weeks post-op or 4 months, 2 weeks as of yesterday. This morning I weighed in at 161 pounds. So I am officially 60 pounds down since my surgery 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago, which just seems so crazy to me. 161 pounds, that has got to be my lowest weight in probably 15 years. The last time I weighed like in the 150s, like under 160 pounds, I was probably about 27 years old and I'm 42 now. So yeah, that's just crazy, 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 crazy. So yeah, I'm down 60 pounds. And what's really crazy about, when you've had weight loss surgery and, for me it was the VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy, you can lose weight so rapidly, like where you're losing a pound a day, several pounds a week. I know some people will even lose, like, even for myself, when I was on the 10-day pre-op diet, I lost 10 pounds in 10 days. And then there's other people that can lose, 15 pounds in 7 days. So, yeah, it's rapid weight loss. But then what is really crazy too, on the other side of that coin is just that, for the month of December, I really don't think I lost any weight. In November, I was doing really good. I had printed a calendar just to record my weight, and, you know, if you're somebody who has had weight loss surgery and, what I see often on the support groups is people will have the surgery and then when they're not having that rapid weight loss, they're coming and they're saying, like, okay, I'm stalling or I've plateaued, I'm not losing any weight, it's been several weeks. And they're getting frustrated, but when you have a calendar and you look at the numbers on a calendar, it just puts things in perspective. So, I mean, maybe you're not losing a pound a day anymore. Like in the beginning, you're losing weight so fast and you think that your body's going to maintain that throughout your weight loss, but it's not. I mean, that's really, if you think about it, that's really unrealistic to think that you're just going to continue to lose a pound a day. They say that your weight loss, generally, what you're going to lose is, in the first year. So unless you're 600 pounds, if you lose, there's 365 days in a year, how are you going to lose a pound a day? How are you going to maintain that? I mean, you'd end up weighing nothing. So, when you're losing weight that fast, obviously your body is going to come to a point where it's trying to hang on to the weight. But if you follow your doctor's instruction and you are, feeding your body, eating appropriately, getting your water in, doing your vitamins, your body's going to see like, okay, this is my new regular, this is my still, my new norm. I'm still being fed. I'm still getting what I need. You're going to start losing again. So, that calendar just helps to look back over your month or over a couple of months and see like, okay, I haven't lost anything for the month of December, but, I lost 25 pounds, my first month back in September or whatnot. So, like I said, November was a big weight loss month for me. December, I pretty much just hovered around 166, and now it is January. Today is the, let's see, 13th, 14th. No, today has got to be like the 10th or 11th. Well, anyways, and I've already lost 5 pounds this month. I was hovering around 166 all of the month of December, and now, 10 days into the month of January, and I've already lost 5 pounds, without a whole lot of effort. So the month of December, I probably actually could have seen a good loss if I was exercising. But I mean, we all know December is just such a crazy month, and I live a very active lifestyle. I have 4 kids, 2 older kids, and then I have a now 6 and 2-year-old. My son turned 6 December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. So I mean, with having two, a kindergartner and then a toddler, I am very active. So I wasn't making it to the gym like I would like to. Yeah, so that was December, and I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. I am at a point where I am just giving my body some grace, and when you're losing, after the surgery, I am 4.5 months out, but there are days or times, or, sometimes it can be a few days where I am just feeling so low energy. And again, it's your body adjusting. So, I've said it before, I'll say it again, this having weight loss surgery, having this procedure done, it's not an easy thing. I'm still learning. Relearning food, relearning how to drink. I mean, it seems like so basic, common sense, but um I don't know, unless you've gone through it, or, if you're thinking about having weight loss surgery, um it's just, it's hard to know or to explain, you know, where those difficulties lie, but is it worth it? Absolutely. I mean, I can say that without hesitation. I might say that with a pause, just for the simple fact that, I'm just so grateful that I was able to have this, new lease on life. You know, my family, um, I think pretty much all, myself and my siblings, we all struggle with our weight. My mom, my parents, when I go to my family reunion every summer, I mean, I come from a family that a lot of us are overweight. So, whether it's our culture, being Hispanic, Latino, food is part of, everything that we do pretty much. We celebrate with food. When you're sad, you want to feed that sadness, to help make you feel better. So yeah, um, a lot of us struggle with weight, diabetes. I've been pre-diabetic probably the last 10 years of my life. I had gestational diabetes with my last two pregnancies. I did not have it with my two older children, but I was probably a little bit heavier with my last two pregnancies, and older, you know. Um, so yeah, I did develop gestational diabetes with both my last two pregnancies. I was diet controlled with my son, and then with my daughter, who's two, I actually had to be on insulin. So that, and then just a little over a year ago, I was diagnosed with renal stenosis. So I have high blood pressure, which is controlled with medication, but I'm still on those meds just for the simple fact that, even though I've lost weight, there's something internally inside of me, with my kidneys that the arteries being narrowed causes the high blood pressure. So, a lot of times after people have had surgery, their doctors will just take them off those high blood pressure meds because they usually, either they don't really need them anymore right after surgery, or shortly after they've had surgery, they will be, they'll be able to go off those meds. But because of the problem with my kidney, I still need those meds to control my high blood pressure. So my blood pressure is being controlled. Um, Today it was 122 over 85, I believe. So, we need to keep an eye on that. Last month, back in December, I did have a day where I was like so low energy that it almost felt like if I had the flu or something. Like I had no energy. I was so tired to the point of feeling like lethargic. I was drinking water, trying to get my food in, but again, those are things that I'm still struggling with. So, I don't know if I didn't have enough to drink. I don't know if I didn't have enough to eat, just something, um, combination of whatever. I had one day last month where I absolutely just felt just rotten, terrible. A little bit of dizziness. Um, yeah, so I had actually reached out. I contacted the weight loss surgery, the center there, and they said, just keep pushing the fluids, eating, getting your protein in. And if you're still not feeling better, call us back on Monday. So this must have been on a Friday. Um, and then at that point, I had also called and made an appointment for my yearly physical with my general practitioner. Just, that's something that I always have tried to keep up with. It's free if you have medical insurance. So if I'm paying for it, I might as well do it, And so, yeah, I went ahead and scheduled that. Also, one of my other concerns was if it could have possibly been like a low blood sugar, just because I was, like I said, feeling a little bit dizziness and just so low energy. So the next day I did end up feeling so much better. And I have not had that happen since then. Thank goodness. So yeah, and then I did follow up with my general practitioner the following week, and we did discuss, you know, my high blood pressure meds and that stuff. So he just said, again, we're just gonna watch that, and if he did think that there's a good chance that out of the two meds that I'm on, that he can see me going off of one of those two sometime in the near future. So we'll see. So weight wise, I said, you know, I weighed in at 161, so I'm 60 pounds down at 4.5 months out. So yeah, that's awesome. Mindfully, just something I wanted to touch on is, when it comes to, you know, your brain, okay, 60 pounds down in 4.5 months, I mean, that is a significant change. But your brain, your mind, what's going on in your head, and, you know, how things are in your life, your mind, the mental aspect, you know, I don't think it keeps up with the weight loss, the drastic weight loss. So, something I've been thinking about is, you know, my best friend, she had weight loss surgery several years ago. And when I told her that I was gonna have weight loss surgery as well, you know, one thing she had said to me is just, you know, be ready for things that, you know, maybe you haven't dealt with from your past. Be ready for those things to come back up, you know, and be ready, think about, you know, how you're going to deal with those things. So at that time, I just thought to myself, like, okay, yeah, you know, I hear you. I don't really think that there is anything. I feel like, you know, I'm the type of person that, you know, I've dealt with whatever, and, you know, I'm good. You know, I'll be good. I'm fine. However, you know, even if it's just your day-to-day life, I mean, when you're morbidly, severely overweight, obese, I mean, there are reasons why you end up that way. Granted, you know, for medical reasons, there may be people that, for medical reasons, you know, gain weight and they really don't have a whole lot of control over that. But that wasn't my case. That's not my situation. You know, I was an emotional eater, stress eater. Again, you know, if I was happy, food, you know, let's celebrate with food. If I was sad, again, I wanted to feed that sadness to help make myself feel better. Or, you know, I think, well, I deserve this ice cream, or you know, I'm going to treat myself with whatever fast food today because, you know, I feel like crap, so I deserve whatever this thing was that I would be craving. So when you take that away, it's hard. It is hard, you know, when you are feeling sad and you're used to running to the fridge or running to the nearest fast food place and feeding that. It is hard when you don't have that vice, food, to feed your feelings, you know? So, yeah, you know, I thought when I was looking into the surgery and waiting to be approved, I thought to myself, like, okay, it was literally about maybe a month, not more than 6 weeks, definitely less than 6 weeks, but it might have been 4 or 5 weeks from the time that I called and talked to the weight loss surgery center, like their office. From that time to the point where they called me and said, okay, you're approved, we have your approval, now let's schedule you for surgery, it was only 4 or 5 weeks. I thought then, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, this is awesome. Like, I don't have to do the 6 month diet. I don't have to do, meeting with the nutritionist or, all those other things that people have to do to qualify for surgery. I just thought that was just awesome because, we all want what we want and we want it now. We want it yesterday. However, I'm learning that, for the people that have had the 6 months of somebody kind of like holding their hand, guiding them, talking about nutrition, portion size, what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, how often, all those things, you know, they went into the surgery having, these other tools that you're going to need post-op. They have that knowledge and whatnot, so, I just thought it was such a great thing. And now I'm realizing, yeah, I'm glad for, my insurance and, having coverage and all those things, but it probably just wasn't such a great thing not to have, the nutritional 6 month of meeting with the nutritionist and being on a controlled diet and, having that monitored and everything. That actually probably is a blessing in disguise. So, for anybody out there that's going through this, if you have that, like, embrace that time, be grateful for it instead of looking at it like, now I've got to wait, or, it stinks that, I've got to go and weigh in or meet with the nutritionist and all these other like, just embrace it, be grateful for, be happy for it, because, I'm in the boat. I'm struggling to stay afloat and do all the right things that I need to be doing for my health. And I'm struggling, I'm struggling with my vitamins, I am taking them still, but, some days I forget, or, some days I'll only get 1 or 2 of the vitamins that I'm supposed to be on a multi twice a day, iron twice a day. I'm supposed to be on calcium, which right now that I'm not taking. So I've got to look into getting the calcium and, work on that. I'm taking a vitamin D, a vitamin B, and a lot of days I'm only getting like my multi in or my iron or maybe one of each of those. But, this is a learning process. We all know Rome wasn't built in a day. So, I try to rotate what I'm taking, and just do my best at this point. At my next appointment at 7 months out, I will actually have blood work done and they will check all my levels to make sure I'm getting everything that I need. So again, just, I want to say that mind-wise, your mind, our stomach has been surgically changed. So, I mean, we have that physical change there. And as far as eating, like, you are limited to what you can eat. So, I mean, we're going to lose weight. And granted, I know there's people out there that can skirt the system. You know, there are certain foods that if you eat them, like, you're not going to get full as quickly. It's what they call slider foods. Um, a lot of times those foods are like chips or, you know, like, I don't know, donuts, things of that nature. And, you know, the grazing, you know, couple bites here, couple bites there of those foods. So yeah, there are people out there that may not be losing the weight that they're supposed to be losing. But if you're following, you know, the program, as far as food wise, like, yeah, you are going to be losing the weight even if you're not 100% on track, on point with what you're doing. But your mind, like I said, your mind, it still is taking time to get your mind, you know, that big change with your body. Your mind, it's, you know, I don't know how to express exactly what it is I'm trying to say, but um you know, there's a lot of work there, I feel like, to do emotionally and psychologically. You know, if you're having the surgery, you have insurance, I definitely would say look into what your mental health coverage is so that, you know, if you do struggle, you can reach out and find help, get help, talk to somebody. There are doctor or therapists out there that are trained that can help, you know, bariatric patients, you know, with these changes and getting through. So, yeah. I'll just end that there. Food wise, I feel like I've kind of pretty much touched on where I'm at food wise. Like, I am still struggling. Um, you know, when I'm eating the whole foods that I'm supposed to be eating, it's hard. I mean, I can make eggs, and literally after 3 bites, I can't eat anymore. Chicken, you know, foods that are drier, I can eat 2 or 3 bites and I can't eat anymore. I am full to the point where I'm like having hiccups or whatever. You know, that's one of our signs of fullness after weight loss surgery. So I'm struggling with getting my whole foods in, trying not to rely so much on the supplements, whether it's a shake or bars. But, you know, I did talk to the nutritionist today about that struggle. And she did say, you know, the first 6 months, they definitely recommend, you know, one supplement a day, you know. So I was really worried, because I've heard that some people, like, they rely too heavily on the supplements, especially the liquid, you know, like shakes. So they have a harder time as time goes on actually relearning how to eat, you know. So you know, when I was struggling with food, I just thought to myself, like, okay, you know, you just need to do this. You need to just get through it, deal with it, learn how to deal with it. And the nutritionist did say, you know, for the first 6 months, definitely, you know, they do suggest one supplement a day. So, you know, that does make me feel better to know that that's okay. You know, in order for me to hit my nutritional needs, um, you know, That's okay. I can do that. It's not a problem. So, food wise, yeah, still just a learning process. The vitamins, I did go over that, what I'm taking. Again, still just a work in progress. Exercise, I have pretty much fallen off the wagon. Um, Last night I did go to a dance fitness class, and just that one workout, like even last night I was thinking to myself, like, gosh, I'm so tired. This class is at 8 o'clock at night. Like, I don't want to go out. It's got cold out here where, in the area that I live in, it's cold again. I don't want to get dressed. I don't want to go out. You give me an opportunity to come up with an excuse not to go work out at this point, and like, I've got a dime a dozen, or a dozen a dime, however that saying goes. Yeah. So I was like, starting, as the time got closer for me to leave, like, I was coming up with every excuse in the book to tell myself not to go. And then I just said to myself, like, okay, if I don't go tonight, if I don't go, like, then I'm not going to go. I'm not going to want to go tomorrow, which tomorrow turns into, the rest of the week, which turns into next week, and so on and so forth. Like, I did go work out a couple of times back in December, but that was it. Like, the last few weeks of the month, I did not go. And I just chalked it up to being too busy. And I know, um, I just need to make time for this and schedule my workouts in, find and make the time. That's it. So, and I know if I go and I do it, like, I end up feeling so much better. And I'm telling you, like, okay, I'm struggling with low energy, but I know if I go and work out, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to have more energy. So, yeah, I need to get back to journaling, um, a food log, exercise, my water, my vitamins, and keep track of those things. I find that, if I can look at my day, my week, if I have a really good week and then a not so great week, like, I can look back at the good week and, see, was it because I was getting more sleep? Was it because I was getting my protein in, my water in, all those things. So I really need to get back on track with the journaling. And then today, this morning, I had my 4-month post-op appointment, and this appointment I actually met with my doctor, my surgeon, and he came into the room. He was very happy. He said, he's like, I saw you and I knew who I thought you were, but he's like, you look so different. He's like, I had to ask one of the other office personnel, who you were, because, I just couldn't believe, how different you look. And, he's like, you look so good. You're doing a great job. Just, keep it up. He said, I am about 10 pounds ahead of where, like, they give you goals, every time you go into the, for your appointments, and they'll tell you, like, okay, at your next appointment, this is where we would like to see you. And, he said, for being 4 months out, where my weight loss is, I'm about 10 pounds ahead of what they would have expected. But he said, that's fine. That's not a problem. Just keep it up. And he did say also, I mean, the one thing other than saying that I was doing good and whatnot, he did say, he did make it a point to say that the one thing he wanted to make sure, like he said, somebody that is ahead of their game, doing well, one big pitfall could be that when that happens, people will get comfortable and then fall back into old habits or think like, okay, I've lost enough. I don't need to lose anymore. So he said, don't do that. He said, there's a good chance that I could reach my 1 year goal. So the next time so I'm 4.5 months out now. The next time I'll see him, I'll be 7 months out. And he did say, there's a good chance I could be at goal the next time I see him, which pre-op, the goal that he gave me was 140. So he said, I wouldn't be surprised if you're at your 1 year goal at 7 months. So he said, don't stop, don't get comfortable, just keep going. He said, I know it's a rapid weight loss, but again, that I just need to keep doing what I'm doing and don't get comfortable. So yeah, that was my appointment today. I go back in the beginning of April at 7 months. I'll have my labs drawn and all that. So yeah, again, that's where I'm at right now. I know I was kind of like missing in action there for a little while. I haven't checked in a bit, but yeah, so it's a new year, and I hope to be more consistent with getting on here on hopefully a weekly basis. So it was great catching up with you, and I will catch you later. Bye.